Green Lantern number 9, written by Jeff Johns, art by Doug Mahnke. The last issue left off with Sinestro seemingly becoming a Indigo Tribe member and coming after Hal. This issue just picks up showing exactly when he became the Indigo Tribe member. We see them chanting some spell thing as he's doused in some liquid or whatever and strapped to a table. And we see him have a flashback to a moment that I guess he felt bad about. And we see him meeting up with Abin Sur's sister named Erin Sur. They get along. They get down to it. And then at some point, she's trying to talk him out of doing something, which I believe is just him taking over the planet Korrigar. And he says, "No, I'm going to keep doing this, but this is what this is what I have to do. But I don't want you to be here for the fighting, so please leave the planet and never come back." So then, I guess that's them breaking up. The war breaks out between the Korrigarians and Sinestro, and then as they're fighting, this itty bitty little kid shows up, opens up his jacket, shows he's a suicide bomber, and just causes this massive explosion in the city. And Sinestro's okay, but it turns out Erin Sur was still on the planet, and she died in the explosion. So that's what Sinestro feels bad about, and he gives in to the Indigo Tribe Light and becomes a tribe member saying, "Knock." So, cut to present, Sinestro's pinning down Hal Jordan. And instead of doing anything like evil, he just comes up and he's like, "I'm so sorry for everything I've ever done to you." And he's like, Hal's just like, "Okay, that's not right. You've definitely been brainwashed. All right, here we go." So he blasts away Sinestro with his ring and goes to the Indigo Tribe members. He's like, "I thought that Green and Indigo were on the same side." And they're like, "Yeah, we are. We're going to teleport you safely home." And then Hal's like, Can I take Sinestro with me? I kind of need that to happen." So he's like, "No, he's staying here with us." And he's like, "Well, then that's not going to work for me. I got to find the on and off switch to get Sinestro out of here, so bye." And he makes himself a drag racer car and then just takes off into the jungles where his ring says the Indigo Tribe Central Power Battery is. And they say, "Do we pursue?" To which they respond, "Knock," which I assume is an affirmative. But they don't ever actually say that, so they do take suit after him. So then real quick, we cut back to the Guardians of the Universe, and they're investigating Starstorm because of that one issue where Sinestro met up with him, and he's like, "Hey, where did Sinestro take the Book of Black?" And he's like, "I don't know." And they're like, "Okay, well, you're a non-important D-lister, so we're just going to kill you." And then they kill him, and then they say they got to go find Sinestro. Anyway, cutting back to Hal, he manages to track down this big-ass cave with indigo light inside, and standing in front of it is a little tiny, like, best I could say is like dwarf man, like Tolkien dwarf, but without a big beard. And he's standing there with a staff, and he's like, "Oh, a Green Lantern. You're pretty ugly." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, at least I can speak to you, and I understand your language. I need information about the Indigo Tribe. What's up?" And basically, this is just an info dump back and forth. So trying to give it an order here. Knock apparently means compassion be with you, and it is also the name of the planet. This guy's name is Nostromo, which is apparently used in the oath of the Indigo Tribe. So he's a big deal. And he's not a member of the Indigo Tribe. Like, he's not wearing the ring, but he did create them with Green Lantern Abin Sur. And he's now the guardian of the Indigo Light, as per what Abin Sur charged him with. And apparently what happened was there were violent explorers that came to his world many, many, many centuries ago. Abin Sur showed up, knocked all them out, and they came across an indigo light inside this cave. And they used the heat of the light to make weapons, but they discovered that the weapons that they used against the invaders caused them to have remorse for a second. So they're like, "Oh, this light must be compassion or whatever." So they became friends, and they learned about the indigo light. And then they made a ring, because of course they did. And then many years passed, Abin Sur left, and he came back with this woman who apparently killed his child named Iroke. And when he put the Indigo Tribe ring onto Iroke, it caused her to become Indigo One, like the main Indigo Tribe member, and she just broke down crying and apologizing and mourning over what she did. And then he kept bringing more and more terrible, awful, sadistic people with violent streaks and putting rings on them so they would be compassionate and, all that stuff. And it wasn't a matter of redemption, though. What Adamser was actually doing was that he had a vision of the future and he was building an army because he saw Blackest Night coming. And then Hal interrupts and he's like, that actually already happened and we won. So, yeah. And so then immediately Nostromo's like, oh, all right, well, we got to get to work. I'm going to have to. The whole reason he built the army wasn't for Blackest Night. It was because of what came afterwards. Apparently, the Guardians of the Universe are the absolute biggest evil, and we're going to use the Indigo Light to make them compassionate and make them stop being evil. And Hal's like, okay, well, here's this bad news. Abensur is dead. And Atoma's like, oh, that's too bad. Well, everything is lost. And he just starts destroying the central power battery. And Hal's like, could we not? But it's too late, and he literally does. He blows up the entire central power battery, and at that moment, the Indigo Tribe arrived to track Hal. So everyone immediately goes offline, loses their compassion, and turns back into the biggest group of murdering, sadistic killers across the universe. And they're all here with Hal and Sinestro. So that's where we leave. I like it. I think it's a nice. It means it's just a huge info dump for the Indigo Tribe, but considering I didn't know anything about them really, I'm happy to have it. But just the way that they treat Nostromo, because he's so sick of all this crap, like the whole way through. He's just an old guy who's just like, well, this is the end. Goodbye, everyone. And then he just blows it up. Like, I like it. He's a nice character. Art's fantastic the whole way through. I like the way they do Sinestro's thing he feels bad about. There's 2 or 3 pages of just pretty clear padding in here, but they make it look great the whole way through. Art's fantastic, so I can't really complain that much about it. So overall, I'm going to give this one I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's a good way to say, okay, here's the Indigo Tribe backstory, and I'm assuming that hasn't already been given before. So just setting up this one time, it's done well in story, and they make it interesting, so 8 for that, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we get it back online, because clearly they wouldn't just kill an entire core that quickly.